Whole concept actually, it is a type of external fixation. So if you go through the evolution of external fixation, the first batch was the A-frame. Anybody who knows about the A-frame? A-frame is a type of your frame which is transfixing. So earlier, it is a type of external fixation. So people had the problem with compound fracture or stabilization. So they try to do what? They try to transfix the pin. Transfixation. And fix it up with some bar. That is the evolution. A-frame. So A-frame had problem. A-frame had problem because they found lot of non-union and complication in A-frame. That is first generation external fixation. Second generation is Hoffman. Hoffman introduced the concept of your sense screw. Sense screw. So instead of transfixation, he is having uniplanar fixation. That is the Hoffman's modification of type 1. Ilizarov stands in third type of the external fixation. The type of external fixator where you would do the transfixation with wire. Now while you are going through the history of Ilizarov, it is true that he passed out in 1943 and a new passed out student, a medical student, was sent to pull down, which is the doorway of your western way of your Siberia. So by the time World War II was also coming to an end, a lot of injured soldiers used to come back to their own home. There was class of patients with a lot of deformities, infection, malaria, so many problems over there. He had got limited resources. Even then he tried to introduce this concept by doing transfixation of the bone with the help of what? Bicycle spokes. Yes, that is true. Bicycle spokes. And that is how it is coming to the field. He has limited resources, tried to do circular fixation with these spokes. And he studied this with the dog also later on. And he tried to solve the problem of the injured patients, injured soldiers particularly, but by limiting to that institute area only. Mainstream Moscow or Russia was unaware about this. Only one is brilliant, as he said, the Olympic high jumper who met an accident, a motorcycle accident, fractured tibia, undergone multiple operations with the elite orthopedic surgeon of Moscow, but failed to do correction or union. Somehow he landed his institute where it was corrected. He did everything. He again rejoined Olympic. That is what one of the greatest boost to him. Then from Kurgaon, it is coming to the mainstream of Russia. So the surgeon was very surprised about this success. But it was limited to Russia only. Until unless, as he said, this explained. Now, Carlo, who also made the same accident, had undergone many operations in Italy, unable to get it in one, and it was also something infected non-union. Some of his friends advised him to come to Kolkata. And he landed up there. Everything was corrected. There was union, infection control, everything fine. He came back. That was the another impact of your coming out from Russia to Europe. So from Europe, it was from Italy. Actually, so to say, it says Italy is the nidus. From that concept of Ilizarov was spreading into the various states, various countries of your Europe. But you are limited to Europe only. It is not coming to a whole world. Probably one of the most important person you know, Dorobele. Dorobele, who had undergone a long period of training in Puro, under your Ilizarov. He did some modification also. The concept of Kora, correction of deformity, and principle of treatment, all things were being added by Dora. And he was a person who has introduced the concept of holo, conducted many workshops, entire North America, and also various parts of the world. So that is how it is being a concept being used throughout the world now. So from Gurgaon to Moscow to Europe, Europe to America, North America and America from. So Ilizarov died in the year 1982. He also once visited India, probably in the year of 90 or 91, Ludhiana, conducted a workshop also. After that he died in 1992. But anyway, what is the basic principle of this? The basic principle lies in the destruction of osteogenesis. So that was a surprise, serendipitous invention or discovery. Why? Because it was an incidental finding actually. He was not expecting, because the person who was doing supposedly compression, he was doing distraction. And he realized a new bone is forming around it and it was like this. That concept he later on studied in animal also, and that is how it is coming to this field now. Today, it is one of the tools not to be used in the primary cases. We were limited use in the primary cases, only 2 and 3 primary cases. So one problem is in the concept we already have. Once a new concept is coming, people used to use it right and left. Then this lead to disrepute, and it is being discarded because of the failures, because we did not adhere to the principle. It was happening in action fixed also. You go to the history of action fixed, you find one time it was discarded. Again it was being reintroduced with modified concept. It all happened because we crossed over the limit, and we try to use it in the non-indicated cases also. That is why it is not prudent to use in primary trauma cases. Because primary trauma cases can be managed by our conventional orthopedic techniques. Only when you have this problem, unable to address with the conventional technique, then and then you go for this series of things. Otherwise, no. Only 2 conditions where you can apply. Primary Ilizarov. One, person is coming with a loss of bone. There is segmental loss of bone. That's one thing. Number 2, as you know, I have seen that the fracture in the proximal and distal tibia particularly, where soft tissue is compromised and not good for the entire fixation, is a cancer. So these are the 2 only conditions where acute compound fracture is not a good idea. Not a good idea. Because many times you do have the soft tissue problem. And if you pick up the Ilizarov, it will be very difficult to address this. Moreover, most of these compound fracture can be addressed by conventional techniques. So it is only 2 conditions in acute trauma where you are going to use. Otherwise, it will be another that will due to the fixator in this system. One is your person is coming with a segmental loss of bone. That is logical. Another is your distal and proximal tibia flexion, where you have the compromised soft tissue. That is the 2 conditions, otherwise no. Now let us introduce this here. Now there is a subsequent modification to it. One modification mostly done by the Pele, and the concept of various deformity correction with the help of hinge technique And the concept of the Torah is being introduced by him. Modifications, 4th generation. The olive were actually not usually used in the initial part. Only were for the lateral in this plane, not only vertical plane, also lateral plane to compression. Olive were is introduced from. Then nowadays, what is new in this program? Modification?
There is special
Huh?
There is special program.
Taylor special frame. So that gives what? This 3-dimensional correction. And that is a one simple device where the poles are used in different direction. This is going to help you with a 3-dimensional correction. Rotation, angulation, and also there is shortening. All these things can be addressed by one simple. So that is why new concept is added where you it is also being done in the same technique, same unit, but you have phase member. You need modification there. So in the latest generations is going to help. Now what is trampoline effect? Anybody know what is trampoline effect? Moni Shankar, what is trampoline effect? Progressive regression of micromotion. Progressive regression of micromotions in progressive weight bearing. What is the meaning? What is the meaning? So the concept of the trampoline is very important here. And weight bearing is a must in case of Ilizarov. And if you give weight bearing, the more weight, the motion will be less. It's less. But if you go more, the motion will be less. So progressive regression of micromotion. If you are giving more weight, that is the most important. This is the important thing you have to understand, that why load is very important here. Micromotion. So concept of micromotions and its effect on it, you have to understand. This is called trampoline effect. Now let us introduce various parts of it. This class is mainly for the first year. So what are there are two types of your component here. One is called primary, one is called secondary. What are the primary thing?
Components, the wires, rings.
Huh?
Not secondary.
Huh?
Rod is secondary.
Secondary. They are the secondary. Correct. He is right. So there are two types of component here. One is your primary component, which is basic, which is in contact with the one is your primary. Another is your secondary. Correct. Only assemblies are secondary. Main thing is this. One and this. And also both sources. Now let us introduce it. These things is coming up in various sizes. Sometimes you will find full ring. When we assemble these two rings together to form a ring. Form a ring. This is a half ring. This is a half ring. Yes or no? These half rings are also coming in different sizes. 1 point. Number 2. This half ring and half ring means to one ring. Sometimes complete one ring also available here. Fixed. Not here. Fixed. So one containing 1 point, half ring, then you assemble here to form a ring. This is also available in different sizes. What are the sizes? You can multiply. So even in 140 also, even 120. So depending upon the need, you have to see. So this is based on the outer bar or inner bar? Inner. So calculation is done by the inner. Yes sir? 1. Number 2, while you are assembling this is also important. All the basic things are important. See, you can assemble two ways. One can assemble it like this. This is not a good. So you have to assemble like this. So this slot is there so that there is same. This is also important thing. So assembling these two things also very important. How we are going to do it? We are not going to do this like this, we are going to do like this. Then we claim this. Now how to select it? Well, definitely if the ring is very big, if the bone is small, so necessarily you have to reduce the size. In children you have to be smaller, and if a big hefty band you have to be bigger. So how do you calculate it?
2 finger breadths around it.
So it should be, listen, it should be like this, that I think is supposed to be in the center and uniform in the surrounding. You must have to accommodate this one. The important for dressing also accommodate the field. So this is applicable for all selection of this size depending upon the size of the part. So one is your half wing. Now half wing is also being modified to accommodate various things. One is called 580. This is the 580. If you divide into 8 halves, 5 part is not there. So where you are going to use it? We are going to use it in particularly joint area. Suppose you are going to do a fixation here. Yes, sir? So if you do have a full ring there, so this is necessary to impact him with very flexion. So particularly in the joint area where you want to have movement, then you are going to go for 580. This is applicable particularly in case of elbow joint area and also knee joint area. 580. One is half ring, another 580. Some modifications in rings also. Omega ring, not here. Another ring you might find there is a ring called omega ring. Mostly being used in case of your soldier. Upper part. Achha, then again, this is what? This is arts. What arts? It is one of the modifications of the Italian. Catagni and Arabi. Catagni is one of the person, the first batch of your Ilizarov who have, he had written a book also. He had introduced some concept also. Catagni from Russia. This is called Italians. We are going to use it.
And the female member.
So basic principle in case of your tense fixation. Sometimes, somewhere it is not possible. Particularly while you are doing the address, the upper part of the humerus. You cannot go for a tense fixation way. Upper part of the femur, you cannot go for tense fixation. There you have to go for this modification technique. It also helps with the stability as well as mobility. And principle tense fixation is now existing. Now, this is one of the primary component. Then what is the another primary component here? So these pairs are very important. This is coming in what are the sizes? 1.5 and 1.8. In children, mostly 1.5. In adult, 1.8. 1 point. Number 2, the tip. So tip is a bit different. See, some tips are very soft. It is called proper. Where are you going to use it? Metaphysics. Soft. So the 1 point size, 1.5, 1.8. Again, you have the knob here. This knob is called, this type of wire is called olive wire. So olive wire is basically for your corneal plane corrections most of the time. One of the uses, see, supposing there is a fracture there, oblique fracture there, you want to have compression there, so one olive is there, another olive on this side is going to be compression. So this is basically corneal plane correction. Corneal plane. So this is going to give a compression there if you will be using. So this is corneal plane correction most of the time. And this is basically, this is only where from the tip, one tip is called binary. This is a type of binary. This is basically for what? Cortical bone. So cortical bones are strong, not very easy to penetrate. There you are using a more sharp one which is called binary. So you have these changes. 1.8, 1.5 tips, binary or trocar. Trocar mostly for the cancellous bone and cortical bone you are going for. And olive is there to correct the most of the time for your corneal plane corrections. This is about the wire. Now next thing is then is What is this called? Rod. What is the importance of the cantilever? It's very important. Though it is very simple, this type of machine. In other words, this machine. While you are diameter, what is the diameter? 6 mm. 6 mm diameter is very important. Important for what? That the tests are very important for us. And if you are doing, let's just say, the principle of Ilizarov is lens on the distraction osteogenesis. Not only osteogenesis, also histogenesis in other words. So it's regenerate. So while you are doing the distractions of the part, it's not only the bone which is distracted, but the surrounding of soft tissue is also distracted. And if it is being done in the physiological limit, it is going to elongate. That is the principle being done. That is the basic principle. And if you cross over the limit, probably it will go for disaster. Again, if you are doing delayed, that is also not good. So distraction, that is all dependent upon the state. So principally, the limit of distraction is 1 mm per day. That means in physiological limit, if you do distraction, 1 mm is acceptable. And it is also better if we do in fraction. So 24 hours, you have to rotate it 1. Otherwise, you can rotate it from 6 to 9 to 12 to 3. So if you divide it this way, this is called more physiological. Instead of going for 1 row. 1 full turn, suppose it is done, 1 full turn you will call either compression or distraction of 1 mm. Certain condition you may need to go for distractions. Certain condition you need to go for this compression. So compression distraction limit is 1 mm per day. According techniques, the different thing we talk. But this should be understood. That and if you are doing in fraction, it is better because more physiological. This is connected now. Now, if you are fixing it in a wire here, then what are the other things? This is what?
Nail post.
Nail post. Another? Female post. Female post. What is the importance of this? Extension. Particularly prop wire. Wire extension. What is the prop wire concept?
When the wire is
No. What is the concept of drop wire? We'll talk about the various frames technique later on. One is called A frame, what is B frame, what is C frame. They basically for the tibia. Most of the concepts are revolving around tibia because we face a lot of problem with tibia. So that is called A frame, B frame, C frame. Again, subdivision is there. But one of the concepts you must suppose to understand that every fracture, one fragment cannot be fixed on one plane. Yes. So that is why you have to give 2 planes. Are you getting my point? No. So if you are fixing it here only one plane, if there is a fracture there, so it may go for this way, corneal or sagittal displacement. Yes, sir? So to counteract it, we must have a division. On your right is say that uniplanar fixator and the circular fixator. What is the difference between these two? So there is study. They said that uniplanar fixator, your sagittal displacement and corneal displacement, about 4 times being stabilized by sagittal displacement by the and almost 7 times by the corneal. So this is more stable compared to the uniplanar external fixators. 4 to 7 times from corneal to sagittal. ठीक है? Basic principle here is that you must have minimum 2 level stability. Otherwise, it is not going to stable. And depending upon the fracture configurations, you have to frame, you have to design the frame in different way. We will talk about it on. But today's concept is basically to introduce ourselves with the various your component. Okay. What is it? This is male and female post. Okay. What is this?
Clamps.
This is what? K-clamp.
Center.
So A to central, another eccentric to come. One eccentric set. This is an eccentric. No? So what is the importance? We are going to hold it. This is eccentric. So now where do you select this thing? How do you select? What is the logic?
When the wires are
See, there are two things may happen to you. There are few things are also important to understand. That you may have a fixation like this. You are passing it. What we are going to do now?
we use the pressure.
Suppose in the bone has been fixed and there is a gap there. Two things may happen. Two things may happen while passing. One, it is going to the center of the bone.
We use the center.
What? Yes, sir. And also it is approximated. Very, very good thing. We are going to use what?
Center.
So if it is very going eccentric one like this, so we are going to use this.
Eccentric.
Achha, that is 2 point. Number D, again my pin is lying like this.
We wash it.
What you are going to do?
Wash.
Wash it.
Two things you can do. One, you can pull it down your end with the fixation. This is good or bad?
Bad.
We do not want to bring the wire to the ring. Rather, we try to bring the ring to the wire. So to do this, you have to address this gap with the help of your washers. So if you are going to do it like this, you can do it easily because it is variable or something. But while giving the traction and acceleration, deflection will take place. So once it is going aligned, and you are giving tractions, it is going to do a deflection. That is why. So the basic principle that while passing the wire, if it is central, eccentric, eccentric, if it is gap is there, do not try to bring the wire to the ring, rather you try to bring the wire to the ring to the wire. So you have to fill it up there with the help of some washers. Washer. Otherwise there will be deflection. ठीक है sir? Yes, you can. So that is one. So basic components are these. Additional components are, what is the importance of this? This is a plate, extension plate. One can extend it. Supposing if you are going for the foot fixation there, you can extend it. So suppose this is calcaneum, this is your foot. You want to do fixations in the metacarpal area. And what are you going to do? Extend it. You can do it. One. This extension can be applied this side. Depending upon the size, you can change it. This is called plate. Extension. What is the importance of this? This is called twisted plate. Twisted plate is basically for 90-degree angle. Suppose you want to change the angle. So one plate from here. So then you are going to use it. This is called twisted plate. These are different. One twist. So K-wire clamps, central, eccentric, and also washer. Wherever is it, you are going to get the washer to fill up the gap. One thing. Number two, this your extension plates are being used where you need to do extension. Most of the time from the foot. This is your extension plate. Your male and female poster also may see basically done for the purpose of your program. Yes, sir? This is being done. Now what is the importance of this here? What is this? This is sense screw. So sense screws concept is what? What is the importance? Particularly in the area where you are unable to do tense fixation with the K-wire. The principles are not same. One thing we must understand, one is called hybrid external fixation. Hybrid Ilizarov is not a good idea. Because principally we are not following the principle. We are merging together two principles. That is why most of the studies say they fail. Why it is fail? All because of the fact that in circular way we are doing circular fixation. But down below in the cave wherever we can sense screw, we are adhering to the principle uniplanar fixation. So we are not doing a circular fixation. So that is why this formula is incompatible. Now you need to modify it so that that cave that the sense screw is using, you are going multiplanar, not in single planar. Multiplanar, that will going to give this better result rather than uniplanar. So this is basically incompatible principle wise, because we are not going to give tension in sense screw. We are going to give tension in the cave. If you are going to give the tension there and these principles are not present, so that you have different principles. Merging together sometimes fails. A failure because of this fail. So that is not a good idea. Even then we can do it if you are going to multiply. Okay, sir? So these pins are basically for this, particularly in the case of where? The joint area, where you cannot go for fixation. And in this situation, this is very useful. This is very useful. Detailed and urgent very useful, so that you can have a good range of movement and fixation as well. So that is mostly done upper end of the humerus, up in the shoulder area, and that is also another for the femur. So in trochanteric area, you need to do a fixation. Okay? So this is any more component here? No. Lens Q. हाँ मैंने योग्य थे okay, so the basic principles are being things are there. Now then hinge technique. What is this? What is it? What is the principle of this? This is a hinge. Basically this is a hinge. Hinge out of what? For correction of deformity. This is a joint actually. This joint is being placed. I told you, one person known as your Borthakur, probably he is one of the person who has more contributions in the correction of deformities. Deformity correction, angulation deformity, rotational deformity, other things. And he has introduced the word CORA. This word is actually being introduced by him, not by Ilizarov. CORA. To calculate it out, which is the area where you need to do, not necessarily the area of deformity. You may need to go for up or down sometime to find out the CORA and do the corrections. Sometimes it may be in the joint, but if you are not going to do the correction in the joint, so you will do somewhere else. That place which you are going to do correction is called CORA. So that concept is being introduced by Borthakur. So this is the hinge concept is coming from there. Placement of the hinge for correction of deformity is important. The hinge. So this is an additional thing, not a primary one. Secondary thing. Primary thing I have already told you. We have these things here. Now, what is this? Tension. How much tension is supposed to give?
110. Depends on the
How Ilizarov is related only to 80 to 90. So how do you know that you have received a good correction? One thing is the tensioner is there. This is not tensioner. This is what? Why? Because you can calculate how much you are generating here. Another tensioner is there where you cannot do a correction. So, but you do not have this mark there. Then how do you know that I have received this correction? Sound. The sound which are striking is just like the sounds you are coming to the chord of your guitar. If you give more tension to the chord, the sound will be different. If you get less, sound will be different. That is also another way by doing these corrections. Your tension, how much weight in it here? Because this concept is relied on tension. If you are not giving tension, it is not going to have a good fixation. That is why tension is must. and you have to limit from 80 to 120 degrees to go, depending upon the need. And Ilizarov himself almost limited to only 80 to 90 most of the cases. But this is going to give you a good idea how much tension I am actually generating there. Yes, sir? Next time we'll talk. That's it. Now, little bit of your most of the deformity, most of the problem which are where the Ilizarov constantly usually in tibia. So for tibia, one thing you have to understand that what anatomy we have read in the anatomy department, we read the anatomy in the longitudinal axis. What is the meaning longitudinal? Then this artery is going like this, then turning like this. And now, for Ilizarov, one supposed to know the cross-sectional anatomy. But that is important. So one anatomy which you learn is muscle longitudinal. Muscle is coming like this and going like this. Bone is going like your tendon is like this. It belongs to you. So cross-sectional anatomy is a must. To have a good idea and also to know the shape zone. This is called shape zone. So which you can pass it on. That is why it is important. Principally, if you are going for tense fixation, what should be the combination? The combination is best if you are going to be within 90 degrees combination. This combination is best. This combination is best if you are going to be. But it is not feasible in all the axes. Because you have so many vital structures. So to escape it, to avoid this catastrophe, so you need to find out this safe zone. For the safe zone, what is more important to understand is your cross-sectional anatomy. So you must have a good idea about the cross-sectional because our anatomy which we read is bones and longitudinal anatomy. So here for Ilizarov, one need to understand the cross-sectional anatomy. What is the artery, what is the position of the artery to know the shape zone. That is why it is important always to go for his anatomy. Longitudinal anatomy is going to help you the other way, but here cross-sectional anatomy is very important. So, to start it, okay. If you are going to do a Ilizarov correction, first thing you have to have all these components with you. You have to select this here. Select the size of the ring and also the assemblies there. While going for the fixation, what are the principles we are going to do here? One, patient is under anesthesia and also you are doing a support system. Support system, have you heard? No. There are 3 poles are here actually, most of them will be here. So you are giving good support there to maintain the reduction at this position of time. First thing you are going to do what is called reference wear. What is the reference wear? And what is the importance of the reference wear? Pass
to the
joint. Considering the joint line as this your normal anatomy. So that is why the fragment may be going like this. So reference wear is going to help you that which direction is supposed to pass the subsequent wear. So reference wear most of the time it is why we pass nearby the joint. So joint is going to help you this guideline that I supposed to be parallel to the joint line. That is why in case of tibia, the first lines you are going to pass the proximal and distal. The subsequent you are going to pass. So reference wear is important. So that is basically perpendicular to the bone and also parallel to the joint line. While passing the P near the joint line, what principle you are going to follow is that I am not going to pass the wear through the joint capsule. They want to. So I do not violate this confinement of this capsule. So I always be away from this one principle. Yes, sir. Then again, while you are going to this passing the wear, what principle again to follow? We are not going to go to one go. Why? Because if you are going to go one go, you will find it may cause the thrombogenesis. So this is going to go to loosening of the pin infection and a problem here. So our concept is go slowly and then to for even sometime. One go concept is not a good idea because it generates a lot of temperature here and it may cause subsequent loosening, pin tracking. Got my point? So these are very many mechanical things, but principles are always there. How we are going to pass the wear, what should be position, that is from your cross-sectional anatomy. Combinations of your rings, as I said, depends upon the flexors. We have A, B, C. We will talk about this later on. What is A frame, what is B frame, and what is C frame. This is basically done depending upon the flexor level and also the confluent flexor morphology. Okay, sir? On principle, while passing the wear, these things are important. Then I am going to select the proper side of the wear. I am going to pass the reference wear in the parallel to the joint line. I am not going to violate the capsule. These are the things. And I am not going to generate mass temperature. So that is why you have to go a bit slowly. And even with normal saline where gauze piece is being taken, or you can pour normal saline here to avoid thermogenesis. This principle to be understood. Okay, sir? And if it is not going, you with do grade 4, no problem. But do not go one word. What next? How to give tension? And what do you do with the wear? Acha, এটা লাগাছেন না? Pin lagao. Didn't say no? No good, no? We should do it practically also. Next time we supposed to do a practical video ourselves. Do the fixation. There so many things are available here. Only where probably we need to correct. Otherwise, all the things are there. So one can do the fixation in the model here. We do not. One point. Number two, while passing the wear also, as I said, best is the cross section, 90-90. It should not be eccentric. And is supposed to pass through the maximum diameter of the bone. So this is answer. One can pass the wear eccentrically also. This is not a good idea. So these are the certain principles you need to follow. One, the size. One, reference wear should be parallel to the joint. And I will try to pass it through the maximum diameter of the area. Have a calculation. Try to have a combination of 90-90 degree possible. If not possible, that's a different thing depending upon the your safe corridor. Safe corridor. Depending on the safe corridor, so that I do not going to do damage to the neurovascular structures. But as such, my principle will be like this. So I will try to pass it slowly, not generate mass temperature there. These are the principles for passing weight. When you are passing, three things I told you, it may be central to the hole, it may be eccentric, or it may be away from the hole. So this principle should be maintained here. That I am not going to bring the wire to the ring, but rather ring to the wire. Then you are tightening with the help of your hands. Tightening with the help of your hands. After tightening one side, I will give you tension to the other side. And how much tension is supposed to give, I already mentioned here. Okay, sir? So you suppose to understand this thing. We will talk about the various points later on. What a